Clouds drifting into my life no longer carry rain or signal storms, but instead add vibrant colors to the twilight sky of my life. Rabindranath Tagore. There are phases in life when we look back on the path we have walked and suddenly realize our soul has changed, like the sky after a long day of wind and rain, a state of calm after the blows, a gentle yet profound growth. Clouds are usually linked to gloom, to sudden rains or fierce storms, but here, clouds are no longer omens of pain, but become the delicate brushstrokes that enhance the painting of the evening. Twilight is the moment of harmony between light and dark, between passion and stillness, symbolizing the ripening of the soul. When those clouds, whether people, memories, or challenges, enter our life without causing upheaval anymore, it shows the heart has learned to embrace, to understand, and to see everything with a more peaceful gaze. Instead of fearing change, we begin to cherish every shade of emotion, just as the sky embraces clouds to create a brilliant sunset glow. When people have gathered enough experience, they no longer see difficulties as storms, but as the essential tones that make life's painting richer. That is the spirit of quiet optimism, the belief that every encounter holds meaning and every change adds to the unique beauty of our living journey. Always go beyond the limits, because that is where you will find the truth. Albert Camus. The limit here is not only the visible boundaries of circumstances, but also the invisible walls built in each person's mind by fear, doubt, and the habit of staying safe. When we remain still in the familiar zone, life flows smoothly yet blandly, like a still lake without ripples. Only when we dare to step one pace beyond that safe line do we hear the true heartbeat of ourselves. Going beyond the limit does not mean blind recklessness, but the courage to face challenges and discover the potential hidden within. It reveals not only the truth of the vast world, but also the truth about ourselves, how strong we truly are, how resilient, and how deep our dreams really run. Like a seed that must tear open its tough shell to reach toward the light, we too must overcome inner barriers to touch a better version of ourselves. Along that journey, there may be stumbles, moments of imbalance that feel impossible to recover from. Yet, it is precisely at the edge of fear, where we believe we have reached the bottom of our limits, that the light of understanding shines clearest. Because when nothing is left to cling to, we are forced to be honest with ourselves, and that very honesty opens the door to true growth. Dare to try. Dare to step farther than yesterday, because on the other side of the limit, you will find not only truth, but yourself. The moment you feel the loneliest is exactly when you need to be alone the most. Douglas Coupland. A paradox, yet the more you reflect, the deeper it sinks in like a gentle whisper from the soul. Loneliness often leaves us bewildered, as if standing alone in a vast field at dusk. Everything silent, no familiar voice calling. We rush to find someone to fill the emptiness, to cover the quiet ache growing inside our heart. But that seemingly cold moment is precisely when the soul most needs to return to itself. Loneliness is not always the absence of others. Often, it is a sign that we have drifted too far from ourselves. In the noisy rhythm of life, we stay busy meeting expectations and chasing outside standards, forgetting to listen to the quiet voice within. The feeling of loneliness sometimes rings like a bell from the depths of the inner self, reminding us to pause, breathe, and face thoughts we have not yet named. Being alone is not escaping the world, but stepping into a silent space to heal and renew. Just as a lake needs stillness to clearly reflect the clouds, we need moments apart from the crowd to understand what we truly desire, where we are wounded, and who we need to forgive. In that quiet, we learn to comfort ourselves, to lift ourselves up, and slowly become steadier. When we grow comfortable with being alone without fear, we step back into the world with a full heart, no longer searching for others to fill our emptiness, but ready to share our abundance. Loneliness is not a deep abyss, but a door opening into the inner self where we rediscover ourselves and learn to love from the roots. The truth is, we know so little about life that we don't really know which is good news and which is bad news. Vonnegut. We often rush to label events. Success is luck. Failure is misfortune. Gain brings joy. Loss brings sorrow. Yet, time, the quiet, patient teacher, has shown again and again that those judgments are only the fleeting view of a limited mind. Some doors close in tears, only for us to understand years later that they were the very turn that saved us from a dead end. Some things we once treasured as gifts later reveal themselves as challenges that forced us to grow through pain. Life moves in circles far wider than our power to predict. Each event is merely a small dot. In a vast picture, we still lack the vision to see fully. Because we know so little, we are easily swept by emotions, rejoicing too much when we receive, despairing too quickly when we lose. Yet this very knowing too little is also the beauty of the human journey. Humble before fate, we learn to accept rather than judge hastily. When we stop insisting we understand every meaning, we begin to live more slowly, observe more carefully, and trust that each thing that happens carries a seed of lesson. Good news or bad news perhaps lies not in the event itself, but in how we grow from it. And in that uncertainty, we find a quiet source of positive energy, the calm of one who knows how to wait, and the faith that even if today is unclear, tomorrow the light will slowly reveal itself. Your task is to discover your own work, then devote all your heart and soul to it. In this vast world with countless paths, we easily drift towards safe choices and jobs defined by other people's expectations. Yet, your own work here is not merely a career to earn a living, but a unique mission, the meeting point of your abilities, your passion, and the values you wish to offer life. Discovering your own work is like searching for underground water in the desert. We must dig patiently through layers of doubt, through experiments, mistakes, and moments of uncertainty when we ask ourselves, is this truly my path? But it is in that very search that we gradually come to know ourselves better, what makes our heart beat faster, what makes us rise each morning with shining eyes. Once we recognize it, work is no longer a burden, but becomes part of our very being, like breath itself. Devoting all your heart and soul does not mean living in exhaustion, but living completely. It is when we bring sincerity to every action and faith to every effort that what we do truly matters. Like a candle that only shines when it burns fully, we only truly feel our own worth when we dare to give all our ability and love to what we believe in. The path may not be covered in roses, yet it will lead us to a deep satisfaction, the kind of happiness that comes from knowing we have lived true to the inner call. And then work does not merely sustain us, it makes our entire life shine. Only when we are lost do we begin to understand ourselves. David Thoreau. People often fear being lost because that feeling feels like standing at a foggy crossroads with no signs and no familiar voices, only a racing heartbeat and pressing questions. We tend to think understanding ourselves is obvious, that simply living each day is enough. But in truth, when everything flows smoothly, we are merely following inertia, walking a path already drawn by habits, expectations, or prejudices. Only when we are lost, when plans collapse, dreams change color, when we suddenly feel like strangers in our own life, do we stop and look deeply within. Being lost is not losing everything, but losing what we once believed was certain. And in that empty space, the true self finally finds its voice. We begin to ask, what do I really want? What warms my heart? What truly hurts me? Like a boat that only discovers the power of its rudder when waves rise, we only discover the depth of ourselves when pushed beyond the comfort zone. Being lost teaches us humility, teaches us to listen, and teaches us to take responsibility for our choices. And then, amid the maze of doubt, we slowly realize we are not as weak as we once thought. Confusion becomes the raw material of growth. Fear turns into the drive to find meaning. Therefore, being lost is not the end, but the beginning of the journey of self-discovery. When we dare to walk through those misty days, we not only regain direction, but also find a clearer, steadier, and truer version of ourselves. I will not let myself be discouraged, even when I make mistakes. Vincent Van Gogh. Mistakes are something no one wishes for, yet they are an indispensable companion on the road to maturity. There are times we fall, our hearts heavy like a gray sky before rain, blaming ourselves for not choosing wisely or stepping forward without enough strength. Yet it is in that moment that seems like failure that human resilience is tested and forged. Not letting ourselves be discouraged does not mean denying the mistake or pretending to be strong. It is the attitude of daring to look directly at our shortcomings and accepting them as part of the learning process. Mistakes are like cracks on a rough stone. If we patiently polish them, they become the very lines that create unique beauty. Each fall teaches us more about our limits, about what needs to change, and about the endurance hidden deep inside. The one who refuses to be discouraged by mistakes is the one who knows how to turn failure into foundation. They do not let the past imprison the present, but see every experience as a necessary lesson, like a seed that must break its hard shell before reaching for the light. We too must go through mistakes to find the right path. And later, looking back, we realize that what truly makes us strong is not the dazzling successes, but the moments we stood up after falling. A person's value is not measured by how many times they fall, but by how they keep moving forward. When we hold fast to belief in ourselves, mistakes are no longer the final period, but the comma that opens a new story. A story of resilience, growth, and unyielding faith. Choose what is useful, discard what is useless, and add what carries your own personal imprint. Bruce Lee. Each day, we receive countless new things, advice, trends, knowledge, values. Without selection, our mind becomes a room crammed with objects until there is no space left for our own light and breath. Selecting what is useful requires alertness. Not everything praised by the crowd suits us, and not everything different deserves to be thrown away. What is useful helps us grow, enriches our thinking, and nourishes the soul. It is like good seeds. When sown in the fertile soil of the inner self, they sprout into enduring values. On the other hand, what is useless old prejudices, stagnant habits, negative thoughts must be boldly released. Keeping them only weighs us down, like carrying unnecessary baggage on a long journey. Most important of all is to add what carries your own personal imprint. Life is not a copy of anyone else. After learning and refining, we must breathe our own spirit into it. Our unique way of thinking, the values we hold, the dreams we cherish. That personal imprint creates our identity, so our journey never blends into the crowd. Like an artist who learns technique from many sources, yet whose painting only gains soul when it bears their own style. When we know how to choose, to let go, and to create, we do not merely build a neater, clearer life. We shape a unique, confident, and fully alive version of ourselves. No limits at all. That itself is the limit. Bruce Lee. We often think limits are lines that block our way, walls that keep us from going farther. So, no limits sounds like a promise of absolute freedom, where we can soar without fear of any ceiling. Yet, when every boundary is erased, we stand before an overwhelming emptiness, and that very vastness becomes an invisible limit. Limits, in one sense, are the fulcrum that helps us shape ourselves. Thanks to the horizon, we know where we are heading. Thanks to frameworks, our talent is sharpened. A river without banks would simply spread and lose direction. Humans are the same. Without goals, principles, or certain standards, we easily lose our way among endless possibilities. When everything is possible, we no longer know what is truly necessary. We understand their nature. Having no limits sometimes means lacking direction, lacking challenges through which to grow. It is those very limits that force us to create, to find ways to overcome, to awaken potentials that once lay dormant. Like a diamond that needs pressure to form, humans need structure to temper will and courage. Looking deeper, no limits becomes a limit when we fail to set our own discipline and values. True freedom is not doing whatever we want, but knowing what we should do among countless choices. And once we understand that, we no longer fear limits nor chase the illusion of boundlessness. We learn to turn limits into stepping stones, frameworks into foundations, so we can rise with steadiness and meaning. I believe you must be ready to be misunderstood if you want to create something new. Jeff Bezos. Innovation has never been an easy road. It is like lighting a small flame in the dark night when the light is still weak and surrounded by doubtful eyes. Any idea that steps outside the familiar orbit is easily seen as strange, even wrong. And it is in that moment of being misunderstood that the pioneer's courage is truly tested. Being misunderstood is never comfortable. It leaves us lonely in the crowd and makes sincere efforts seem questionable. But if we only seek instant agreement, we will remain forever on the safe, well-worn path where breakthroughs have no room. Innovation demands courage. The courage to trust what we see when others cannot yet see it. The courage to hold our ground when judgment swirls around us. Like a seed that must accept being buried in dark soil before sprouting, a new idea must also endure doubt before it is recognized. Misunderstanding is sometimes only the distance between today's vision and tomorrow's reality. The innovator lives at that crossroads, seeing what can be while others see only what is. If they remain steadfast, they turn skepticism into fuel and solitude into creative space. And then, when time speaks for them, what was once considered different becomes the turning point. To create something new, we must be willing to step outside the crowd's immediate understanding, because sometimes today's misunderstanding is tomorrow's proof of value.